$1 trillion in spending. And I'm willing to do more. I want to reform the tax code so that it's simple and it's fair, but also so incomes over $250,000, we go back to the same rate we had when Bill Clinton was president. We created 23 million new jobs, the biggest surplus in history, a lot of millionaires to boot. Now, last night, Governor Romney ruled out raising a dime of taxes on anybody, ever, no matter how much money they make. He ruled out closing the loophole that gives oil companies $4 billion in corporate welfare. He refused to even acknowledge the loophole that gives tax breaks to corporations that ship jobs overseas. And when he was asked what he'd actually do to cut the deficit and reduce spending, he said he'd eliminate funding for public television. That was his answer. I mean, thank goodness somebody is finally getting tough on Big Bird. It's about time. We didn't know that Big Bird was driving the federal deficit. But that's what we heard last night. How about that? Elmo too? Look, the fact is, Governor Romney's math just doesn't add up. And I had to spend a lot of time last night trying to pin it down. The only way to pay for $5 trillion in new tax cuts and $2 trillion in new defense spending that the military says it doesn't need is by asking the middle class to pay more. And I refuse to do that. I refuse to give up their deduction for owning a home or raising their kids just to pay for another millionaire's tax bill. I refuse to ask students to pay for more for college, or kick children out of Head Start programs, or eliminate health insurance for millions of Americans who are poor or elderly or disabled just to pay for more tax cuts that we cannot afford. And I will never turn Medicare into a voucher. Governor Romney doubled down on that proposal last night, and he is wrong. No American should have to spend their golden years at the mercy of insurance companies. They should retire with the care and the dignity that they have earned. So yes, we'll reform and strengthen Medicare for the long haul. But we'll do it by reducing the cost of health care, not by asking seniors to pay thousands of dollars more. And we will keep the promise of Social Security by taking the responsible steps to strengthen it, not by turning it over to Wall Street. Now, going forward, we're going to have a chance to talk a little bit about what's going on overseas, because our prosperity at home is linked to what happens abroad. 4 years ago, I promised to end the war in Iraq, and I did. I said we'd wind down the war in Afghanistan in a responsible way, and we are. While a new tower is rising above the New York skyline, Al-Qaeda's on the path to defeat, and Osama bin Laden is dead. But we still face serious threats around the world. We saw that just a few weeks ago. And that's why, so long as I am Commander-in-Chief, we will sustain the strongest military the world has ever known. And when our troops take off their uniforms, we will serve them as well as they've served us.